You won't believe what happens next. Sal helped Yell shake off the snow, and the mood turned tense. Of course, Demora's snow-covered carriage is speeding along, and the two are heading for a date at a cozy inn in the mountains. But all of this is under the watchful eye of the Queen's spies. The next day, her informants reported the couple's intimate moment to her. The Queen smiled at this news, calculating that the baby's due date must be in late September. If Mrs. Peter doesn't accept, I'll send him to the battlefield, replied the Queen nonchalantly. Right now, I just need Peter to visit Yelmore, making everyone think he's truly royal. After a passionate night with Sal, Yell happily returned to find Peter on her bed, insisting to share it. Peter seemed odd but wasn't dumb. He had already figured out the Queen's scheme. Since it couldn't be avoided, he aimed to ensure the child was his. He was eagerly anticipating the day the child would be born, whereas the Queen and her entire entourage arrived in a hurry. From night to daybreak, with a loud cry, the baby finally arrived, leaving the delivery room in chaos. Yell woke to find her baby gone. Hearing the Queen took him, she rushed to the palace despite her weakness. Poor Yell didn't even get to hug Paul before being whisked away by the Queen's guards to feed him. She shouted frantically in the baby's mother, "I can feed him." But the Queen shut her down. "Please, please, 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 oh please. I beg of you, please." As a reward for the heir, the Queen gently stroked Yell's hair, assuring her that she wouldn't be sent to a convent, but rather enjoyed her time in the palace. "Silly girl, you will eventually find your true love." To gain even more power, the Queen turned her back on Yell, leaving her looking innocent and confused. At that very moment, Yell stumbled over to Peter, boldly declaring that she possessed the ability to help him ascend to the throne. That the condition was to get their son back, and Peter smirked. "Didn't you say being alone in the palace is normal for me?" Peter declared he would do nothing, waiting for the throne to come to him, and he planned to execute everyone who ever insulted him. Yell returned to her chambers, and at the sight of Sal, she couldn't hold back her emotions. Little did she know Sal was there to say goodbye. With the baby born, Sal's mission was complete, and the Queen sent him abroad. No matter how Yell begged, Soldier Sal had to leave, leaving poor Yell sobbing helplessly on the ground. Fast forward 2 years, on Paul's fateful day, Yell finally got to see her child again. She had carefully prepared a birthday gift for Paul. Then, at the Queen's suggestion, Yell took Paul for a stroll, with Peter also invited along. Paul effortlessly sat on the throne, holding his mother with one hand and his father with the other, creating the only warm scene of the show. After all, Paul looked just like Peter. No one suspected anything else about his parentage. Soon parting time came. Their first meeting, young Paul pleaded his mother not to leave. Yell could only comfort him. "As the future emperor, you must learn to be strong." She hugged Paul tightly, whispering in his ear, "Mama will always be with you." Despite the Archbishop's strong objections, the Queen secretly married her boyfriend Alexei and even requested to adopt Paul, which the priest declared because Paul's biological parents were still alive. That obviously went against the rules. The Queen insisted on adopting Paul, fulfilling her dream. Crucially, she had willed the throne to Alexei, with Paul as next heir. The priest asked, "What about the Crown Prince Peter?" The Queen replied, "I will never pass the throne to that fool Peter. Not only because he is cowardly and foolish, but more importantly, he is the #1 fan of the King of Prussia. Tomorrow, at a historic moment, I will officially declare war on the Kingdom of Prussia." However, before the declaration of war could be delivered to the Prussian envoy, the Queen waved her hand, sending the document flying. The envoy said, "According to protocol, this directive should be personally delivered," but the Queen just smiled and said nothing. Just when the atmosphere in the scene had become extremely tense, with no one able to break it, the Polish prince made a grand entrance. He picked up the document and gravely told the envoy, who then took it and withdrew. The Queen admired this foreign prince, while the glance exchanged between the Polish prince and Yell truly showed what love at first sight looked. Soon, Yell received a love letter from the prince containing a rare flower and an antidote. The next day, the Polish prince came to visit, charmingly bypassing the maid's attempts to stop him. Yell was not surprised by the prince's arrival, as her heart was already with someone. Seeing the prince's shy demeanor, Yell decided to show him the charm of a sisterhood, and their card game attracted the attention of the hidden spies recording everything. But when asked about this gentleman's name, the spy only replied, "She calls him Little Cucumber." Soon, the factory had reported this situation to the Queen, who was not even mad about it. In fact, Yell and the Polish prince became card buddies thanks to Elizabeth's behind-the-scenes matchmaking. They had just pawns in a grand game. 6 months had passed in this manner, and ultimately, the Queen finally summoned Yell. She began by saying, "I almost forgot that you even have a husband." Then the Queen rambled on about the same old nonsense, but Yell just smiled faintly. The Queen thought, this girl is quite suspicious, but she didn't plan to let Yell off the hook. I will keep a close eye on you until I think you're no longer a threat. Yael seemed unfazed and replied softly, but I don't want to see you anymore.